guys, Martha here. I am back with another Louis Vuitton video. This video is going to illustrate the changes in quality that Louis Vuitton has taken. If I compare the vintage pieces to the more current pieces, you guys might be able to see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and show you guys the two pieces that I will be using to illustrate that. These are two mini pochets. They are supposed to be made identical. One is vintage and one was made this year in 2016. In order for me to do that, I will have to adjust the focus on this so that I can kind of close them up a little bit more to you guys, and that way you guys can see the details of what I'm talking about. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. I will be blurry in the back, but this is what's important. So here we go. So here is the vintage piece. This piece right here was made in 2004, so it is about 12 years old. And even from then to now, which is not super old, you will be able to see some of the things that have changed between the way these are made. So if you could see, first of all, let's focus on this right here. If you guys can see how straight this was attached, like it just looks really nice and straight, the suture or whatever you want to call that. And then I want you to take a look at this one, and if you notice that this one does have some like wiggly, especially right there, it does have a little bit of, it's not as straight, it just has like these, I'm not sure what to call them. And even on the side and all of this, I guess on all of the little kind of like a piping, that it's not super straight like the other ones are. Go back to this one and look how straight that is. Do you guys see that? It's just completely straight. And on the bottom right there, completely straight. And on the sides, okay. Now let's look at the new one again. Let's see right there. And if you can see, it's not completely straight. Not completely straight. And not completely straight, especially right there. So it's not a very big deal as far as, you know, that, because it's not something that people are going to go up with a magnifying glass and see, ooh, that looks bad. But I do notice this kind of thing on more newer pieces. The other piece that I do notice it on is on my Speedy 25 bandolier. And the same thing, all of the little lining around it has the same issue where it's kind of crooked in a lot of places. And on my older one that I did have, that one is completely straight. So I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that they changed the canvas a little bit, because the texture does feel different from the older canvas, and maybe that's what's causing the little bit of the warped, or if it has anything to do with the fact that they are now sewing things with machines and not by hand. But not every single piece and not every single part of these little bags and pochets and things like that. So I don't know guys, but that's one of the things that I did notice. The other thing that I do notice between the two, and I'm going to go ahead and focus again. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and focus on the chain itself. Let's see, do you guys notice that this one right here is a little bit thicker than this one right here? I don't know if the camera will actually show you guys that, but can you guys see that? Let me put them closer. Can you guys see that? This one, the older one, is slightly thicker in the way that it's made from the newer one. This is the new one right here. And this is the old one right here. And even the weight of it feels different. This one feels more substantial, more heavier. And this one feels lighter. Like if it was more hollow. If you understand what I'm trying to say. But definitely this has changed. And even the sound that they make is different. On the older piece, it sounds like, it just sounds like a heavier metal. And the newer piece, can you guys hear that? It's lighter. Old one, and this is a new one, and I'm doing it harder on the new one than I am on this one. So they sound different because this one is heavier. Like, you could just see that it's heavier. So the quality of the hardware has definitely changed. The other area where you could notice that the hardware is different is this little loop right there, and I'm going to go ahead and focus it so you guys can see that. See that little loop right there and this little loop? Do you guys notice how this one is smaller and this one is bigger? This is the new one and this is the old one. Okay, so you guys probably were able to see that, hopefully, that there is a change in the hardware. If you hold them side by side, you could notice it more so than if you're looking at it because of the feel. I could see it's just very different the way they feel. This one just feels so heavy and this one feels so light. So that was different as well. I did discuss that the 2016 bags did have a different type of canvas, and I think I discussed that in my previous video. But yes, the canvas is different, definitely. This one has a softer feel, as if the stuff that they spray on the canvas, it's definitely softer, smoother, and feels a little bit thicker. This one right here is the newer one, and this one feels a little bit more rough, looks a little more matte, and almost as if they sprayed less coatings of that, you know, whatever that stuff is that they spray over the canvas than the older ones. Almost like if they put maybe like 3 layers of that stuff they sprayed, which makes it that plastic feel, and maybe they put like maybe 1.5 on this one. That's almost what it feels like. But it definitely feels a little chintzy, and this one feels more substantial. This one looks matte, and this one still looks matte, but not as matte. Then this one feels rough, and this one feels smoother. Definitely the canvases have changed, and I think this canvas is way better quality than this one. So that's another thing that I am noticing. Those are some of the examples to kind of illustrate to you guys that the quality of Louis Vuitton has definitely changed, and I'm not sure that it's for the better. So this is one of the reasons why I always say that vintage is better, and why I love purchasing the vintage bags over the newer ones. And I kind of regret the fact that I did buy my bandolier this year. I should have probably looked for a used one that was a couple years older at least, because even the ones that are made in 2016 I think are not, well, because of the canvas, they're not made the same like the ones even from a couple years ago. So I do kind of regret that I did get that bag. However, it is one of my favorite bags only because of the versatility of it, the functionality of it, the way it looks and functions is just perfect for me. But as far as the quality, I wish I would have picked up one from a couple years ago, even if it's used, you know, because I really don't mind. I actually prefer used handbags because you can get them at a better price than you can the brand new ones. And especially because you still have to pay hundreds of dollars in tax even on top of the price. So getting the used ones is definitely a better deal, and also better quality from what I'm noticing. I only have these to illustrate the quality as far as something that is the same. I also used to have a Speedy 25 that was an older model, which is only like a year older than the one that I currently have, but I did sell that one, so I wish I would have held on to it long enough to have been able to film that to show you guys, because even between those two I did notice some differences. So at least I was able to show you guys with these two. Definitely the vintage pieces are better in my opinion. They're made better quality, they're made just overall better. As for me, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with the vintage and not really buy new. But I'm not gonna make any promises, guys, because I really do like the handbags, and if they come up with something just really beautiful, I don't know if I'll be able to resist, and if I have the money to do it, because it's very expensive too. If you are one of those people that is a stickler for quality, and especially in a brand that's considered luxury and which you pay thousands of dollars for, maybe even Louis Vuitton will eventually catch on that people are not really wanting to purchase their brand new items because of their quality and correct this. we'll see. That was my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and that it was helpful for you in some way. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed to my channel, and if you haven't, please do so. I would really appreciate that. If you enjoyed this video or learned something from it, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that, and that would really help me out. And I will see you guys on my next video, guys. So until then, have a really beautiful day. God bless you guys, and I look forward to seeing you soon.